Hello. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use simple math to understand higher forms of math. For example, imagine when you get into algebra and you have an understanding of how math works. So I'm going to use very simple math, but give you concepts that are higher form so your mind can get used to doing it. Let's just start. I'm going to use the number 6. So this is the concept. The rule is when you have 6 times any number, you're going to do something with it. If it's an odd number, like 1, you're going to pretend it's even, and you're going to add 5 to it. If it's an even number, you're going to do half the number and then add the full number back to it. So we're going to start all the way from 1 going forward. So 6 times 1, we're going to look at the 1, since it's odd, as being 1 lower, which is nothing, okay? So what we do, we put down 0. Then we're going to add 5 to 1. 5 plus 1 equals 6. Or we can do 1 plus 5. Makes sense. And that equals 6. So that is the answer right there. The answer is 6. The way you broke it down. Okay. So now we're going to do this with an even number, number 2. And just follow along. Same rule applies. 6 times 2. We're going to look at the 2 and go half, which is 1. And then we put the 2 down, 2. So the answer is 12. So we did that. We cut it in half, 1, and then put the 2 next to it, and that's the answer. 6 times 2 is 12. Okay? So follow along. Next, we're going to make this with a 3. Okay? 6 times 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the odd number and say we're going to make it even. So we're going to make it into a 2. So we're going to put down 1, which is half of 2, and then we're going to add 5 to the 3. So 3 plus 5 is 8, and that's the answer right there, 18. See how that works? Okay. This is good. Now, again, just follow along. We're going to go all the way through. And we're going to do 4. Okay. Again, it gets easier. You look at 6 times 4. You go half of 4 is 2. Then bring down the 4. And it's 24. Okay? You see how we're breaking it down? Using the properties of the rule of 6 to manipulate numbers to get the answer. Okay, now let's go to 5. You're excited by now. You look at 5, you say it's an odd number, so you bring it down to a 4. Imagine it's a 4. So you can just think that this is in your mind a 4. Okay, so half of 4 is a 2. And then you say 5 plus 5 equals 10. Okay, so now what you do is you can just write down a 10 underneath it for practice, and then add it up. 2 and 1 is 3, and 0. So it's 30. That's how it works. Okay? Very simple. And again, we're writing this stuff down, but our goal is to be able to do this mentally. We have to figure out how it works. So now we're going to do 6 times 6. Again, it's an even number. All you simply do is you go half of 6 is 3. Put down the 6, and it's 36. Okay? You notice that when we had the 10, we had 2 columns, right? But when it's a single number, you just place it next to the other one. And so it's 36, and it makes a lot of sense. All right, let's do 7. Okay. Remember the rule. So 7 is an odd number, so pretend it's a 6, okay? So pretend it's a 6, and you go half of 6 is 3. And then you say 7 plus 5 is 12. And so you simply write down 12 here, and then you add it up. 3 and 1 is 4, and 2, and so it's 42. Again, doing it in mind is a little faster, but I want to show you the examples. Okay? See how that works? Let's move on. Let's go all the way up. Should be having fun by now. Okay? So this time we're going to do 8. 6 times 8, again, is an even number, so you simply just go half. So it's 4, and then you put the 8 down. That's the answer, 48. Okay? Very simple. Okay, now let's go to 9. So 9 is an odd number, but again, we pretend it's an 8. Okay? So half of 8 is 4. And then we simply say that 4 plus 5 is 14. So we put down 14, and we say 4 and 1 is 5, and 4 is 54. Okay? Very good. Okay. Let's go. Right now we're going to go to 10. And it's the same thing applies. Same thing applies. Okay. So this time it's going to be 10. Again, we know the answer is already 60, but we're using the concepts to get you into the mindset of dealing with these numbers, because they're going to get more and more complicated as you go into higher forms of math. Okay, so it's the same thing. Now, before we write this down, because we had an odd number, but 10 is an even number, all right? So when we have an even number here, we look at it as half. So then we put down a 5, okay? 5. Half of 10 is 5. Then we say 10 plus 5 is 15. No, because again, this is a even number, not an odd number. Okay, so just to get that out of the way, you don't have to do that. All you simply do is you bring the 10 down, but because it breaks base 10, you have to place it over. So you put it like this, and then you add it up. 5 plus 1 is 6, 0. Okay? So I hope it didn't confuse you too much, but again, this is an even number. 1 is an odd number. So that's how you do it. Again, half and then the full number. But since it's base 10, it goes over the first one and you get the answer. All right. Now, let's look at 11. All right. And we're going to just see how we break this down scientifically. Okay. Now, this time we have 11, which is an odd number. We would pretend it's a 10, and so we would say, if it's 10, we go half. Half of 10 is 5. Write down that. Then you're going to say 11 plus 5 is what? 11 plus 5 is 16, and then you put the 16 here, and then you add it up again. 5 plus 1 is 6, plus 6, and it's 66. Okay? Very good. Now let's move on. We're gonna go all the way to probably 19 or 20. All right, so that was 11. This time we're going to do 12. All right, 6 times 12. Again, 12 is an even number, and we go half. Okay, so you put down a half of 12 is 6, and then you simply take the 12, and you can now what you could do here, because we have it kind of lined up already, you just kind of just put the 6 right here, and then you can just add these up. So this is 1 plus 6 is 7, and you have a 2, so it's right there. Okay. So once you put down the half number, you already got your numbers lined up for your answer because it's even. Let's just use that concept, make it even easier. Now we're going to do 13. Okay. So 13. Again, you don't have to write this down anymore. We know that we're imagining that this is going to be a 12. So we simply write down the 6. Then we say 13 plus 5 is 18. Write down our 18 here. And then we do our columns. So we go 6 and 1 is 7, 8. And that's the answer right there. All right. Good. Let's move on to 14. I hope you're starting to see how this is really useful. Get ready for higher forms of math. Okay, so again, 14 is an even number. So we cut that in half to 7. Put the 7 right there. Okay, not going to do anything. We're going to add the 14 to that. So we'll do our columns just for our mental practice. And we go 1 and 7 is 8, and 4. That's the answer right there, 84. All right, let's go to 15. 15, we again pretend it's 14. So we say 14 and half of 14 is a 7. Okay. Then we're going to add a 5 to the 15. So 15 plus 5 equals 20. And we're going to put the 2 here, the 0 here, add it up, and that's going to be 9, 0. That's our answer. Okay, again, this gets quicker because it's mental. All right. Now, let's go back and do 16. Okay, so 6 times 16. Again, we look at the 16 and we go half, okay? So half of 16 is 8. So we just, again, put the 8 here, and we already have our columns lined up because we just add the 16 back. So 1 and 8 is 9, and 6, so it's 96, okay? So it's great because even numbers are just so much easier to do this. Okay, so let's do 17. Again, 17, but we pretend it's 16 in our mind, right? Okay, so then we go 16, half of that is 8. Put the 8 here, and 17 plus 5 is 22. So we put down 2, and then we say 8 plus 2 is 10, and we put the 2 down. So it's 102. All right, that's great. Next, let's go to 18. All right, let's get rid of all this stuff here. 18 is an even number. So again, all we do is we just put down half of that, which is 9. Okay, and then we add the 18 back to it, and we do our columns. So we've got 1 and 9 is 10, and then we got an 8, and it's 1 of 8. Okay, very good. Let's do 19, and we'll be able to stop at 19. So 19, again, we pretend it's 18. And so we know 18 is a 9. And then we go 19 plus 5 is 24. So it's 24. We put down 24. And we simply add the columns up. 9 plus 2 is 11. And 4. So it's 114. And that's it. Very simple. Now, again, we've taken something that was, I think, pretty simple. We know our 6 tables. But again, we're using the concepts of higher math, algebra, trigonometry, all kinds of things that we do. Because when you get to calculus and algebra and trigonometry and on, you're going to see concepts that you may not be comfortable with because they've made things that were simple into things that were complicated. So by me showing you this now and you using this, so it'll be just that thing. Practice that, continue to watch, and you have a great day.